Hey, so guess where I am? I'm gonna end up walking backwards and killing myself, but I am in my old neighborhood. So I figured for this series, The Neighboring Church from our book, I would take a little visit to where I actually had neighbors, since y'all know I live on a farm now and I'm out in the country. So let me just introduce you to a couple of my neighbors. I was here 13 years, I think. So this is in Kenosha on Taft Road. And I see my house over here. They probably think I'm stalkers. And I don't remember it being this loud, but today it feels really loud. All right, so for 13 years, I lived right there on Taft Road. And we had an amazing, amazing time in that house. It was a great, great neighborhood. They just left, so maybe I can get closer. But I worked really hard on this house. I had great, great neighbors. I loved the fact that everyone got along, that we knew everybody by name, everyone helped one another out. So this was it. I had a lot of yard work. I had a lot of stuff to do, and for 11 years I was single here, divorced, okay? So let me introduce you to my neighbors. I love the fact that there's sidewalks in this neighborhood because everybody walked their dogs. Look. That's Chris Romano. She's my old neighbor. She's walking her dog. Hey, Romano! Yes! Okay, I'll resume my video because I just had a 10-minute conversation with Romano.
Are you talking to yourself?
No, I'm talking to the camera!
Oh, sorry, hi!
It's a good neighbor right there. So Romano and a bunch of us were in a prayer group, and we used to meet in our homes here in this neighborhood. We are polar opposite. She is Italian, she is brash. There's nothing graceful about that beautiful woman, but I love her to death. She loves the Lord, and God put us together even though we're so crazy opposite. Oh my gosh, look at my gardens. I just want to weed. Okay, I digress. Okay, so that's Romano. In this house next door used to be Shar and Steve. Here's a cool story about those two. They don't live there anymore. I don't know who lives there now, but they were Catholic, and they went to a revival in Florida. So they were like on fire, born again Catholics. Does that make sense? I don't even think that makes sense. But I loved her because they weren't typical Catholics. Yes, they went to a Catholic church, and no offense to any of you that used to be Catholic or are Catholic, but she would get down on her knees and she would pray and she would play worship music, not like any other Catholic I've ever known. So I loved Shar and Steve, although she loved Halloween. She decorated for Halloween, and really talk about community. Even though she was a believer and she really didn't, didn't believe in the devil part of Halloween, she still decorated. She still loved to pull all the neighbors in. She had the coolest house on the block for Halloween because it was fellowshipping, and she was just loving on people. Okay, across the street, I can't really see. Let me find some shade. Across the street are dear friends of ours. And they, Neil and Linda, their son, it's this beautiful, beautiful home over here. Sorry, my videoing is all over the place because I'm being blinded by the sun. Their son and our son were absolute positive best friends from age 6 to about 6 months ago. Beautiful people, would do anything for you. Not very social, never came to one party or anything that I ever had at this house. But they would drop anything for you and do anything for you. As a matter of fact, when my son was an addict, they were very, very helpful. So here's my house. That's so cool. Oh, I miss my house. Okay, next door here was Brad. I think he is still the landlord there, but he has some renters there. Super, super nice, single guy, just super friendly. Didn't do a lot with him, but loved on him anyway. The next house over was Erin and her husband. I don't think they're there anymore. They were in the military, so they moved around. Down the street, I don't know too many. Let's see, right here are really good friends of ours, Diane and Jeff Woody. That's where my car is parked. I have a key to their house. They currently live in Florida, and we still communicate with them. We talk all the time. I get their mail every week, even though they've lived in Florida for years. And when we go to Florida, we visit with them. Not faith-filled, but here's the coolest story about Jeff and Diane. Let me see if I can get out of the sun for a second. Jeff and Diane are those type of people that he would come over to my house. He's super, super outgoing, super eccentric. He would come over to my house and he'd be like, hey, Bible thumping neighbor, what'd you learn at church today? Tell me about Jesus. Even though does not believe, does not go to church, and really just kept teasing us and teasing us and teasing us and teasing us all these years about our faith. So I'd be telling him about what we learned at church and what the scripture was or what we did, and he respects our faith. But then, scolds me for not having beer in my fridge for him when he comes to visit. Super, super nice guy nonetheless, and his wife is precious. Polar opposite. I mean, they're just way opposite than us, but we still respect them, and we still hang out with them, and we love them dearly. We've had them out to the farm. I kind of did this backwards. So that corner there, that's Amy and Tom and their 4 daughters who are all grown and married and have kids now. They had a ice skating rink in their backyard every year. So talk about community, and they would leave their back porch open and they'd have ice skates in the basement, and you could just throw them a text and say, we're gonna skate, and they'd leave the back door open. They didn't even have to be home. You'd run into their basement, you'd throw on a pair of skates. If it was nighttime, they'd flip on the light for you and you'd skate. They go to a Catholic church here in the area as well. Look at all these dog walkers. I'm so remembering this now. All these sweet young couples walking their dogs, pushing strollers. Anyway, that's Amy and Tom. Next to Amy and Tom are Sherry and her husband. I'm having a name blank right now, but their kids and our daughters grew up together. They were the same ages. So this is the neighborhood. And, I was single here for 11 years, so there were so many things that Jeff and the neighbors helped me do. If I needed to start my chainsaw to cut a few trees down, I cut a few down right there in that garden behind my head. Jeff would quick come over and start my chainsaw so I could do my work. Or if the mower filter needed changed, or I got locked out, they had a key to my house. Anything, the sewer would back up, anything that I would need. Is great to have neighbors that we knew that would love on the kids and I during those 11 years that we were here. So that's my old house. This is my neighborhood. I still love it. I still love coming and checking my neighbor's mail because I get to smile and say hi to everybody and peek at see what everyone's doing and do what I just did with Romano, run into her when she was walking her dogs and say hi. She told me what she needed as far as prayer requests just now. And we don't talk that often, but super cool to be back in my neighborhood, super cool to see a few people and to be able to walk and hear the laughter and just do community just for even 5 minutes until I go back out to the country. So welcome to my neighborhood.